Hi, it's Sunday, the 9th of November 2025, and welcome to this week's My Thoughts vlog. As usual, it's completely unscripted. These are just my thoughts, no one else's. Now, today, as I'm sure most of you are aware, it's quite a special day in the United Kingdom. It's Remembrance Sunday. And this is the day when we give thanks and we remember those that have fallen in conflicts all over the globe. And we also remember those that still serve today and who face harm and conflict, and we try and keep them in our thoughts. Remember to give thanks for what they do for us. Today, I like to remember my dad, Flight Lieutenant David Pearce, the RAF. Um, he would have been well into his 90s now. But yeah, it's a day for looking back and reflecting and thinking about all those people who gave so much for the life that we know today. But I'd also like to remember and keep in my thoughts other people. I mean, there's those that support the veterans that are still with us. There's those families that have been left behind. I'm thinking of people such as the widows and the wives that of current veterans. People like my mum, and the children as well. Because service children can face difficult lives, especially in our community where many of us have had severe health impacts from our dad's service. And people like myself, and so I like to remember all of us who are struggling and all the veterans who are struggling with health and the wider family that support them, because it's without those unsung heroes that many of us would fall apart. I mean, where would I be without my mum and my sister, and my wife now? Be lost, absolutely lost. So yeah, I would like to remember them today, all of them, um, because without them, the burden on the state would be incredibly unmanageable and expensive. So they do a marvelous, marvelous job, and I give thanks for them as well. And it's important not to forget because people like my dad and my grandfather who served on the Atlantic convoys and the Arctic convoys in World War II. That was horrendous when you hear what he went through. Um, you know, the ice around Murmansk and all that kind of stuff, and being fired upon by the Germans. Unthinkable, and he was such a young man. He was 15 when he ran away to sea, so he was just a boy himself, really. But without what they did, and it's important that we don't forget this, it's about learning the mistakes of history, because as we sort of progress through the situation we've got now, the talk of nuclear testing has come up again from both Putin and Trump. Now, have they forgotten, what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? What more testing do they need to do? We've done, you know, thousands of tests. What more do they need to do to find out? It's bonkers. It shouldn't be happening. And I think they're forgetting the lessons of history. Um, and this is why we need to educate and keep educating the generations that come behind us and the young people of today. And this leads me nicely into something I did earlier this week with LABRATS. We launched the education package for schools. We launched that in Manchester at the Mayor's Chambers, and it was a great day, lovely building. We started off by laying a wreath at the cenotaph, where there's a lovely plaque to the nuclear test veterans. That was quite a special moment, because I've not been there before, and it was really nice to do that. Um, Especially because we had a minute's silence and thought about my dad, and it was just a place where it's dedicated to nuclear test veterans. You don't see that often, not often enough. But yes, then we went back to the Mayor's Chambers and we launched the educational package. I sat on the panel um, along with John Morris, a veteran, and Alan Owen, and We answered a few questions after the presentation, and it, we got some enthusiasm from members of the audience, and a lot of positivity about the way young people see injustice, and they're a lot less tolerant of injustice and social injustice than perhaps we have been in the last few decades. And it's those people coming up through the ranks who are going to be our future leaders. They're the ones that we need to know about nuclear testing, about what was done and the social injustice that followed. So yeah, it was a special day to be part of, and as always, I will do things like that time and time again to get the message out there. But yeah, I'm going to put the telly on soon. I'm going to watch the Veterans March past the Cenotaph because it's a very special day, and I'll be particularly looking out for our nuclear test veteran community because we have spaces on the march, and yeah, so yeah, that's going to be good. I look forward to that. So I'll sign off for now, and next week we'll back on. Hopefully, back on. No, might not be Friday because I'm away all Friday, so it might be Saturday. Who knows? Anyway, it will be next week sometime towards the end of the week or weekend. So I'll sign off for now. Have a great weekend, whatever you're doing, whatever's left of it, and I will see you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.